Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel and this manual on how you go from advanced player to an expert in the game. And let's start a little bit with talking about myself. Who am I and really how can I call myself an expert? Well, let's check the next slide and you will see. In this slide we can see that I have played Supremacy 1914 for 13 years now. I started off already in 2010 and I have joined 67 games in this time. 33 of these maps I have won solo, and actually it's 19 coalition victories. It says 18, but the last victory is not updated yet. My province capture loss ratio is now over 30, which is very high actually. I haven't seen many players to match this. So I've taken 10,200 provinces in all my games and I only lost 337. So this makes me a very tough opponent for anyone that wants to kill me. So let's go over to the next slide and we will start this manual step by step. I strongly recommend that you pick your country yourself when you're starting a new map. Don't let the computer choose by random. I think it's better to know what you're playing, and you should do the research before you start playing, actually, to see what you like, what countries and what provinces, resources are suitable to you. Do you want to play a island country, or do you want to play something in the middle of everything? Do you want to play with harbors and have a fleet, or do you want to focus on inland warfare like tanks and artilleries? It's whenever you play a map, you should start thinking about the next one and have a look. Okay, which country would I like to be the next time? Uh, I actually have made a three-part video about the World in Flames 100-player map, where I look at every country and see which one is good or bad from my perspective. I would like to have countries with good iron and wood production. This is a main focus for me, and with that mindset, I have checked all the countries in this. So I will put a link on that video in the description here. Many players don't think about this actually, but it's very important that you are online when it's time for a day change in this game. Because so many things happen now. It's rebellions, people go inactive, it's new upgrades available for your provinces that you can start building, etc. etc. So make sure already when you start the game that you have a good time for the day change. So you can ensure that you are always online then and can really take advantage of this. And how can you really decide when it's a good time to day change, or how can you determine when the day change is? Well, I will tell you about that in the next slide. For many reasons, it's important for you to be one of the first players to enter your map. One, that you can pick the country that you want because it's still available. You want to have this extra head start against your neighbors. You can start building fortresses, you can start moving around men, you can actually race towards AI provinces next to you before the other players have gone into this map. And for what we talked about in the other slide, to really know when it's day change, this is how you know. Because if you look at the maps, say it's a 100-player map and it's only like 6 or 7 players entered so far, then you know it's just recently started. So if you join now, it will be this time, maybe 20 minutes before, as a day change. So when you start a map, you should actually go in at the perfect time for you for a day change. Then look at the maps, any map with just a few people in it already, and then you go join there. Then you will pick your country as you want, you will have a perfect time for day change, and everything is set up perfect for you for the rest of the game. So the very first thing I do when I enter a map is to build fortresses. That is, if you don't have a premium account, you should build your recruitment offices first, of course. But after that, build fortresses against all human players. Even if they haven't entered the map yet, they will enter, and you want fortress level 1 at least against all human players. And why do you want this? Well, it's mostly psychological actually. Of course, it reduces damage if they attack you, and it's good protection. But if you go into a map and you see one guy building fortresses and you see the other guy on the other side not building fortresses, and you want to attack someone, who are you going to attack? Obviously, most players attacked the guy without fortresses. So why I build this is not only to reduce damage, it's actually I want to avoid being attacked at all. This gives me time to develop and choose who to attack, and I don't need to do this in a hurry. So I always build fortresses against all human players, and it's really worth the iron that you use for it. And fortresses also gets your morale up, so there are some good things about it apart from the ones I already talked about. The second thing I do when I start a map is to set my sliders to maximize my production of grains, iron, and oil. That's because they are the most expensive resources in every category. Uh, this means I can sell grains and buy fish, which is normally about 20% lower cost. So I can make some money out of this. I can sell grains, buy fish, and get some money in between, or I can sell a little bit grain, buy more fish, and I use the same money, but I get more resources on fish. And the same for iron versus wood and oil also. This is just a way for me to make money, and I think it's a pretty smart way because it's always the same in every map. So make sure, of course, that you still at 100% met on your resources. You don't want to go under 100 because then, of course, you are reducing morale, and it's not good for your economy at all. But you can surely be minus 200 something in fish and plus 215 grains without it affecting your economy, as long as you have fish enough to just cover these these negatives. But as long as you are on 100%, there's no problem with that. And this is a very good way to make money, which you will need later on. So while we are at the subject of the stock market, there's actually also more ways you can make money out of this. Because in the first days in a map, there's always a lot cheaper prices of the resources than it will be like in after a week, 10 days or something like that. And you have lots of money, you start with 100,000. So I always buy lots of iron and wood for maybe 5, 6, something like that, because I know I can sell it 1 week later at 13 or 14. I can buy grains, I can buy fish. And I check the market all the time the first days. And I just buy, buy, buy. I'm not using it then, but I will have use for it later. And I have the possibility to sell at a higher price when I need money. Uh, so make sure several times a day, every time you log in, check the stock market. This is very important in the first week, and you can really build up your resources and your money to so you have enough to invest later on. Okay, I think this is the most important tip I will give you here, and this is where I see many players go wrong. Why would you join a coalition with your 5 closest neighbors in the first day? You don't know how good they are at the game. You don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to be active or not. And for sure, if you join them, how are you going to grow? You can't invade them because you joined them, so you have to go through them to invade someone else, and it's just going to be a big mess, like it's always are in every map. So I keep a low profile. I don't enter any coalition. Normally, I don't even respond to the questions. Then maybe people think I'm inactive and they will leave me alone or something like that. I will wait and see and determine when and with who I want to join a coalition later on. I wait for 2 weeks normally. I want to see come into the mech phase when you start building weapons. Then I can see which players are good or bad. So as long as possible, I try to stay out of coalitions. Sometimes you are forced into, like if the four neighbors next to you, they want you in or they will take you out, then maybe you have no choice. But if that happens, well, go for it and then see what you can do with it. But I try to stay away as long as possible, always. I want to win the map in the end, and then I don't want to join four newbies that are shouting the loudest in the first day. I just let them be, mind my own business, and then later on I will see what's the best option for me. So you probably know this already, but your double production provinces are the most important. That's where you want to focus your development and build upgrades. Because if you build a barrack, it speeds up the recruitment, and it's always better to do it when it's already doubled because it's a percentage. So in real numbers, you will gain from building everything there. You will build your harbors, railways, factories. They add up your production a lot. Uh, I think you already know this, but if you doubt this, if you heard something else, there are mathematics behind all of this, and I have made videos to prove this, and I will give you links to those in description, but it's too much to take in this basic manual. But for sure, check out those videos also. So please don't do the same mistake as most people do in this game. Do not build workshops in every single province you have. There's no point. You don't have enough resources later on to build constructions in those provinces anyway. So why don't you save up some iron and wood and only build workshops in your double production provinces? As we talked about earlier, that's where you want to build your factories. So why not build workshops only there and then focus on them? Then you can have your armored cars, your balloons, your cavalry, what you need in the early stage, and you still have enough iron and wood to build the more important upgrades later on, like railways, harbors, factories. Okay, maybe half a day after the map is started, or for a 500 player map, it can take several days, but sooner or later the map's gonna be filled and you're gonna have players all around you. This is the time to start analyzing all the players. Check the service records. You will get so much information from there. Are they experienced players? How many maps have they entered? How are they doing on the capture loss ratio? Are they losing more provinces than they are taking, or what's up with them? You can also see how many victories they have, solo and coalition, etc. And there's a lot of analyzing you can do with this information. You can also check, are they building factories? Are they building fortresses? Everything is in there. What kind of upgrades are they building? So if there's a guy that is pretty active but he never builds any factories, okay, save him for later because you know when that phase is starting, when you start building your artilleries and tanks and everything, and he's not building at all, then you can take him out so easy. So save that guy for later and focus on other people. And also, this is actually very common. People join the map and they don't like the country they are given because they pressed random and got some country they didn't like, and they immediately leave the map. This happens a lot. And you can actually determine that in the first day. For many of these people just go in and then they they leave right away. That means they haven't built any recruitment offices at all. So if you see someone next to you that's not built any recruitment offices, their provinces are empty, then you know he's left the game. And I mean, it's like 95% certainty he's not coming back. So that you can act on this information. Either you just leave him alone and then you can focus on your other border. That's what I recommend. But also, if it's like a part of the world that there's not so many countries around, maybe you're in an island, then you can start invading this guy because he will not fight back. He will just stand there. And then you can take him out in 2 days with just sending 35, 40 infantry against his 10 and then take it province by province. But then you have to make sure, of course, nobody can attack you from the back. But this you can really get so much information from. So analyzing is the key to really put your strategy forward to how you should proceed in the map. So here's something else that most players don't really know, and that's that the armored cars are a defense unit. It clearly says so in the description of the unit, and if you check the numbers, you see that it defends with double the value as it has in offense. So 3 armored cars attacking 2 armored cars, and the 2 armored cars will win. And most people use these as offense weapons in the early games. They build a lot of armored cars and they don't have any money or resources left to build other stuff. I don't play like that. I build a few, maybe 2, maybe 3 in the beginning to really use their speed. That's the most important thing for me when I'm invading like empty countries. Then they are good. And I use them to defend myself if I'm being attacked. But I save my resources and money to focus on the upgrades instead. I prefer to have a railway than an armored car. I prefer to have a harbor or a factory than the armored cars. Uh, so if you spam these, you will be successful in early days, but you will fall after in the other developments of your economy. So I think you should have more longer views actually and don't spend all your money on armored cars in the beginning. So, what to build instead of armored cars if you really want to expand quick in the beginning and you want to attack and be fortunate in your attacks? Well, have you checked out the cavalry? The cavalry has an offense value of 15 compared to 6 for an armored car. So actually, one unit of cavalry is worth 2.5 armored cars when attacking someone. And I don't see people building as much cavalry as they do with the armored cars, which is wrong. If you want to go to attack, build a barrack because you need a barrack first, and then start building cavalry and use them when attacking, and use the armored cars when defending. Actually, you should have a little bit of each. And some other units that is my favorite in the early stages is the balloon. A balloon is fantastic. It gives you, as you know, a fantastic view over the surroundings, and you will see your enemy coming from a far distance. And information is fantastic. It's the key to everything, I think, in the beginning. So maybe build a few armor cars, build some cavalry and some balloons, and still save up your iron and wood for other construction. The cavalry and the balloons are much cheaper to build also than the armored cars. So it really makes sense to have a mix of everything instead of just focusing on spending everything you have on armored cars. There is a video I shot with all the units, all 13 units in the game, describing each and every one of them with the defense and offense value and how you should use them. I really recommend you to watch that to get a better understanding of the mix of units you should have. I will give you a link to this video in the description of this one. Sometime in the spring of 2023, there was a new update which changed the way morale penalties are if you're being at war with a country. Before that, you had 5% penalty on your morale for every country you were at war with, up to 5 countries. And that could be pretty tough. But now there's no penalty at all for this. So I actually changed my way of making warfare also after this update. Now I'm not scared of being at war with 2, 3 countries at the same time. So instead of looking at countries and enemies, I look at provinces. I take the easy provinces that are close to me, and of course this means I can be at war with many players at the same time, but I think this is a good way to adapt. So I take, say, 3 provinces that are not defended from my neighbor, and then I just stop, because he has most of his armies on the other side. So now different things can happen. He can ignore and just keep on attacking the other guy, or he can be angry and send back all he has to try to take it back. This is the normal case. But by then I have put my armies in there. I have started build fortress. So maybe it's up to hit points 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that in level 1. And I put my armor cars that are defending. Because infantry is also defending 20% better than attacking. So I would like to have all my fights with me as the defender and not the attacker, actually. And if I can get some fortress a little bit hit points up there also, it's very good. So I provoke people, so to say, by taking a few provinces, and then I just stop. And I see what happens. Maybe he doesn't care, and we will not do anything more. And then maybe I take 3 provinces from another guy, and I just keep doing that, saving up all my infantry, taking cheap provinces as much as I can, and expanding through that way. This is, of course, you cannot do it in 5, 6 countries because then everybody will attack you at once. But for sure, if someone is in war with another third party, go and grab some provinces and then just stop there if they are cheap. And basically, you will grow province by province, and suddenly you will be pretty big after taking 3, 4 provinces from each enemy. This is really something you should look at. And I think it's a very good way because that's what I'm doing now, and it's very successful in this way. Have you seen this fabulous online battle calculator? It's a guy called Dexter who developed this, and it's free to use for everyone. It's online, and I will of course give you the link to this website in the description also. Basically, you enter all your troops, the hit points or the morale of those, and the same with your enemy. And you can enter the buildings in the area, if it's fortress, what level, etc. All other buildings, you enter ranged weapons like artillery, battleships, you can add the airplanes, and everything basically you need to create this fictional battle. And then you see if you are winning or losing or how this will end. Just to give you an idea on how it will be if you actually engage in this battle in Supremacy. So I always do this now, just to check before. Will it be a good outcome for me or will I lose? If I lose, of course, I opt not to do that battle. Then I know, okay, I need to add 2 more tanks. I need to build another level of fortress if I'm being attacked and stuff like that. And it's so good to know this and to use this. So I can really recommend you. Check that out. And I also made a few videos on how to use it. So I will give you links to those videos also. So, of course, social media is very nice, and you are right now on YouTube, obviously, so you already know how to use this. But apart from YouTube and from Facebook and other stuff, there's also 2 very good platforms where you can meet other players from Supremacy and exchange ideas and strategies. And those are Discord and Reddit. Both are very good. Lots of people online and very active. I am on both and I really use it, and I learn a lot from other players also. Everybody can learn all the time. So it's very good to share thoughts, and you can post videos, you can post your pictures over your situation, and people will help you with advice. So check those out and search for the Supremacy section, and you will for sure uh, be able to pick more things up. So I am about to round up this manual. Thank you very much for listening. It was very nice to talk to you, and I hope you got some information and really that you can use this in your coming wars. I hope to see you on the battlefield. Maybe we are on the same side, maybe we are on opposite sides. We never know. My final tip is that if you like this video and really want to see more in details on how to develop your country in a map, I have a campaign out on my channel where I play the Ottoman Empire in a 100-player map, and I start with no allies and only myself, and just trying to navigate myself up to a final victory. Will I be successful or not? Well, you have to watch the series to find out, of course. And as same as the other, I will put a link to this campaign also in the description. But thank you for now, and very good luck to all of you. May you kill all your enemies and be victorious. Thank you and bye.